Titles can be misleading, and I mean that in every sense of the word. The title is usually the first thing that we see before beginning an anime, and sometimes some assumptions are made based on the title. Some names are self-explanatory, like Great Teacher Onizuka or Bartender, while others are very obscure and give no hint to the story that it tells, like Sumomomomomomomo or Durarara. So when I first picked up this anime, what exactly could I think of it? Is it really My Little Pony mechs going at each other? Well, not really. Hello audience and welcome to Yvern's Box. Today we will be reviewing Gundam Unicorn, a 7-episode long OVA series produced by Studio Sunrise, who brought us some wonderful works like Code Geass, Cowboy Bebop, and all the other Gundam shows, and directed by Furuhashi, who also directed the original Hunter x Hunter and Rurouni Kenshin. So with my knowledge of what Gundam usually are, and with no knowledge of what Unicorn was about, I waltzed in. The story of Gundam Unicorn takes place in the same timeline as most of the first Gundam shows, including Mobile Suit Gundam, Zeta Gundam, Gundam ZZ, Gundam 0080, and Victory Gundam. In fact, Unicorn takes place 3 years what unfolded in Mobile Suit Gundam Charles Counterattack. Unicorn tells the story of a young boy named Benager who meets a mysterious girl named Audrey. Although he leads a somewhat normal and average life, Benager gets pulled into the pursuit of the greatest key to changing the world, known as Laplace's box. Because of this unknown factor's importance, many other factions are also searching to become the first to find out where and what exactly this Laplace's box is. Now, Gundam Unicorn follows the same formula as more recent Gundam shows, with a youth being pulled into becoming a Gundam pilot for a certain cause or reason. And although the story will feel reminiscent to other Gundam plots, the story is unique in its own way, and is still very enjoyable. At the same time, things get emotional and fundamental ethical questions are asked on what is right or wrong. Each story segment or arc is very strong, gaining momentum from the previous one to the next to come to a satisfying conclusion near the end. The story makes you think, all while presenting it in a wonderful package. However, the story is in no way perfect. To fully grasp what exactly is going on and to savor the full experience, watching the older Gundam series that Unicorn ties into is a necessity. In fact, the anime makes both cameos and important references to Mobile Suit Gundam, Zeta Gundam, Gundam ZZ, and Charles Counterattack. And while it isn't necessary to have seen all of them to understand what is going on, it is definitely recommended. Another thing is with the anime itself. Because of its limitations being the mere 7 episodes, even if they are an hour long each, Unicorn was forced to make some cuts here and there, and this caused some bizarre transitions, but also made events unfold a little too quickly and characters develop a little too abruptly. But with all that said, Unicorn has a very solid storyline, wonderful animations, and likable characters. Like any and every other Gundam show, Unicorn has a large assortment of characters, while each being interesting and entertaining to watch. And even though there are many factions trying to achieve their own respective agendas, one cannot simply sit down and firmly say who is right or wrong. Benager Lynx is the main protagonist of the series, and is similar to many other typical anime male characters. He has a very kind heart even towards people that could be considered his enemies, and tries his best to not resort to violence to solve problems. At the same time, his naive nature sometimes comes back to bite him, yet he always gives his 100%. But he begins the anime as one of those characters that try to run away from reality, wishing to end his suffering while not knowing what consequences would come from that. Eventually he sees that running away is no longer an option, and that's when he truly becomes a good character. Audrey is the main female protagonist of the series, and Benager's love interest. Unlike stereotypical female characters, Audrey is very strong and surprisingly resourceful. At the same time, she has a very good understanding of the world and sees the bigger picture, and even though she might seem like a burden sometimes, she ends up carrying her own weight, and is a very well written character to say the least. The rest of the cast are all very good considering the small size of the series. There is enough content and development to make all these characters interesting in their own right. At the same time, maybe also because of the rather small size of the series, there was always enough, but never more. Gundam Unicorn was beautiful to watch and listen. The people behind it really pulled out all the stops to make Unicorn what it was, and it's easy to see this with what we got. The animation was both pretty and fluid, while the music was epic and grandiose. And while it is somewhat sad to have not been able to get an opening for the series, any self-respecting person will be more than satisfied. One thing that might take some off would definitely be the character designs. Maybe because of seed, double O, or age, people have come to expect more quote-unquote anime faces from Gundam, but I found that the character designs were a sign of respect to its origins, and we should really appreciate what was done. Again, the multiple sound effects were realistic and the art was stunning, which we could really see during the fight scenes, which are both magnificent and stunning, and even though sometimes the anime felt retro, it still wasn't anything less than glorious. Of course, no review on a Gundam show would be complete without a look at the mobile suits that appeared during the series. The poster Gundam RXO Unicorn Gundam was beautiful to watch in action, and while I personally liked its standard form better because it looked like a rhinoceros, the destroy mode was pretty with the red lines. The Banshee was a little more than a black version of the Unicorn, though I wish they called it the Tricorn or whatever. But I also liked its standard form better, but it's still a beauty in either forms. The Sinanju, the spiritual successor to the Sazabi, looked amazing with the red body and black and gold details, making it look like royalty. Finally, the Rosen Zulu and the Kshatriya both deserve a mention, though the Rosen looked like it had high heels on. Unicorn was a lot more than metallic My Little Ponies. It presented both a thought-provoking story and an interesting arrangement of characters, all while maintaining a high standard for both visual and auditory presentation, and it should really be watched considering how short it was, even if you haven't watched the older Gundam shows. Thank you all for watching my review of the OVA series known as Gundam Unicorn. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe because that really keeps motivated to make more videos. I'll be trying to upload between 1 to 2 videos per week, so expect a lot more content from me. Alternatively, you can always suggest an anime for me to review. Anyway guys, thank you all for watching. This has been Yvern and my box.